Welcome back to the Airman's podcast. Today we have some new faces with exciting topics to talk about. Our Judge Advocate General, Basilisk 6000, has joined the team. It will be my job to regulate this podcast and to make sure you, our listeners, get the best information possible. Let's get started. Over to you, Chelsea.
Hi, right. Welcome to the podcast. So this week we have Basilisk here, the Judge Advocate General, as he said, to help just move the podcast in the right direction. We have the same cast as usual. One person resigned, sadly. No clue how to pronounce it. Like Kara-chan. Bobby, do you know how to pronounce it? Kara-chan.
Kiara.
Yeah,
Kira-chan!
Kara-chan. There we go. Yeah, I have no clue how to fucking say it. But yeah, they sadly left the podcast team, and we're just gonna move on without them. But we thank them for their service on the team. Anyways, into the podcast. So today we're going to be discussing why we think the whole armed forces group shut down and why each group is being made independent, as well as the Navy shutdown. All right. So the armed forces, they shut down on Monday, or they announced the shutdown? When did they announce that?
It shut down Friday.
No,
But they
when did
announced
they
it.
announce it?
Tuesday, I think.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday?
Wednesday they announced it. I was actually on base when they announced it. NSWIG and NETC and all of them hopped on, glitched into the airfield, and just started crashing helicopters everywhere. It was such a pain.
That's the Navy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I didn't expect the Navy to shut down that quickly. I thought it had another.
Honestly,
month
the
left.
activity was dying, and for people that are listening, I was an HM-15 pilot. I was the only pilot that ever qualified since it closed and then it reopened. The entirety of CVW tried out for it, and nobody pretty much made it, but
I was in CVW and I didn't try out, you liar.
most people did.
Yeah.
HSC-14, most of the members tried out during the helicopter squadrons.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not surprised the Navy shut down, because while I was in the Navy, one thing I witnessed is that all the people in command were just friends with all the people below them, so they never got fired. When I was in CVW, my squadron commanding officer, not gonna say names or anything because I'm nice, so there's context for this. Around mid-January, right before I transferred to the Air Force, I got discharged from my squadron for talking to CVW HQ about how inactive my squadron CO is. I pulled logs from every single channel showing everything he's ever done for the squadron. His last event being over a month from when I pointed it out. We're not counting a Top Gun movie night he did 3 weeks before, because that's a movie night that no one went to at 3 a.m. And so, he found out about it and fired me for slandering him. And I found out that he was friends with FFCHQ, so that's why he never got fired from his position.
Yeah, the USN was corrupt. It had a lot of issues in regards to people inactive, and honestly, I don't blame them. Our maps had nothing. We had no actual cool events.
Yeah.
It was just people getting awards every 2 seconds. It was you didn't actually have to work for anything. There wasn't goal to anything, which was the issue. And that's why the USN shut down in the first place, because I was FFC commanding officer in naval wide training back in V1, V2.
Nice.
And this is before Cav bought it. But we were the most active because we had stuff we had deployments and all that. But the USN, we didn't have that. We didn't have a deployment map. We couldn't do anything. The deployment maps, helicopters were 99% broken. The planes were dead. Pretty much everything. And the map was so tiny.
Yeah, South China Sea in a plane, if you just hold control once, you hit the edge of the map in 3 seconds. There's nothing to do there.
Yeah, I was in the Navy, very 2019, something like that. It was way before Cav had bought it, because I remember when they made the announcement, Wilberpug, the old owner, they all came into ABC together, and asked questions and stuff like that. And so it was a big transition, because we had trust, because we were so used to, sorry, my mic up. We were so used to these two people running this, and then all of a sudden, people left. People left because of it. And so that did like downsize our numbers quite a bit. Granted, I think it's in a really good I think it was going in a really good direction with Cav, but I don't personally think that he was making too much off of it, and I think that's part of the reason he shut it
Yeah,
down.
which sadly, even though this is technically for Cap, he's pretty much mostly about the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean, I don't
Navy
blame
as
him.
What?
I think
I mean,
Navy as a whole is very hard to actually make a group that works because it's like the Army's pretty simple, right? Like especially at a developer standpoint,
Yeah.
you can make some tanks if you're fancy, but really all you need is ground troops, right? But especially with the Navy, that like their entire things are like boats, and it's not even like the Coast Guard where you can do like rescue missions. Even at a dev standpoint, it's very hard, and like especially like Roblox as a whole, we haven't really seen like Navy groups succeed at all, and especially add that with like poor leadership, that doesn't really go too great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I
fact this
definitely
Air
agree
Force
with you.
group is doing really well, like that's surprising to me.
That surprises me.
Yeah. Like maintaining really good activity for this, like damn. Like if the Navy's had the same developers the Air Force has, then it would probably still be around.
And I know that this is breaking it off from the USN, but when it comes to stuff like the USM, my idea on it is the fact that he wasn't making much off of it. He didn't see a point in it being a thing. Like, yes, having an ally group makes sense. Because now, with it being the way that it is, it could be a marketing technique. Because now, with the being branched off, he can try and find other groups that want to join, like a different U.S. Coast Guard or a different USN or a different USAF that want to branch onto a different military, like the Marines. Which made no sense to me since, well, he sold the Marines.
Alright, so moving on to the next part, the whole armed forces. Like, same day the Navy shutdown was announced, the armed forces announced that it was closing, which, from one standpoint, could be taken badly. Like, it could kill like JAGC activity, because I know they did a lot of joint events together. Basilisk is here; he could talk about that in a minute if he wants. And then there's also the joint SOCOM operations that they did all the time, and all that stuff. So like, shutting down.
Special forces operations are still standing.
Oh, really? I thought that was
Joint Task Force Beaver is still a thing.
Huh, okay. But
Yeah, I can kind of.
We're safe.
about
Caviar
this.
said that that's not going to be shut down.
Alright, so Basilisk, what do you have on this?
Yeah, so actually when the announcement kind of made, or even like before this announcement, like I heard rumors of this, and even like with myself being in Air Force HQ, which we do classify a lot of stuff, like this was even classified from me, so I didn't even really kind of get knowledge of this. And then when I kind of noticed that like the entire USM was shutting down, this especially like at my standpoint raised a lot of questions, right? Like what would happen to our laws, because especially our laws are highly like coordinated kind of with each other, right? So a very simple thing, like let's say we want to add a law, it would be jeopardized due to the fact that, at least in the old kind of way how we did it, is let's say, okay, I want to switch a law, I need to like basically the Navy and like the Army need to agree, but now due to the fact that like we're kind of being separate, how does this work? So there was kind of a lot of confusion with that. However, I don't know, I think that we are definitely kind of sorting out these confusions kind of in general, and while this is kind of a controversial decision, personally for me, I see that like I see the sides of like both stories.
Yeah. I was going to ask you what's going to happen regarding the UCMJ, but I guess that answered that really. But yeah.
Well, I do have a couple things with that. So, amendments I'm not entirely kind of too sure on. However, I'm pretty sure that I guess with regarding the UCMJ on this one, for kind of one thing is definitely before we had it. So like let's say a Air Force member leaves to join the Marines, right? And let's say a like investigation was still going along with the Air Force. Normally we could have like punished them in the Marine Corps. So let's say they get found guilty, we could have a demotion within the Marine Corps. However, now we kind of can't really do that, and I know for like another one with Joint Chiefs of kind of staff trial or like in Air Force HQ trial, we're gonna think of something else that kind of difference from that. However, I know one thing for sure is that we will all kind of keep the same UCMJ. However, we'll kind of still remain like separate, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like, another thing about this, back like way back, like before the Navy shut, like let's say the week before the Navy shut down, I was talking to people from like Carrier Air Wing 9 and 3 mod to do a joint flying event, because like to get us all good. So if there's ever an operation with one of us, we wouldn't have to rely on another aviation component. We could just say we're ready. And so fucking then the armed forces announced it got shut down when I start like trying to like actually set this thing up, and that just fucked up almost everything for me. But like I'm trying to like fix it. Like we can still do it just without CVW really, but still like the armed forces shutting down. Like in some aspects, like I could see why it was done, but in other aspects, it just seems a bit dumb. Cause like from one standpoint, all of this could be seen as good. Like it could advance better in the future, but also at a standpoint from right now, like it could kill activity in a certain way, but not really. Some people might be mad about it, but I doubt that like it'll happen to that many people, just like 10, 20 people, so it wouldn't really cause that much outrage. Yeah.
Yeah. And when it comes to the disbanding, you have people that were like working on other stuff, because before everything that happened and before like fully shut down and everything, I already transferred to the Army, because like I'm already in Marines, I'm already in the Air Force, as we can all tell because I'm already here. And I have a staff position in the Army in their aviation, in 3rd Infantry Division. I literally just talked to the deputy commander, told him my history, like, hey, I used to be commander or something. I was one of the best pilots, one of the highly decorated pilots, and yada yada. I'm AFHQ, yada yada yada. I do other stuff, yada yada. Well, and he's like, yeah, no, here's a staff position. This we are also looking for officer positions, but those have already been filled, sort of. So we will give you this enlisted position. Well, I'm already there.
Nice. Yeah.
And the same thing that happens with other people. Like I know one of my friends, Pepper, transferred over to the Air Force, and others, and people like Raw is now part of the Marines.
Yeah. Like, it'd be cool if they kept transfers open, but are they keeping transfers open right now? I'm actually not.
No, transfers are currently closed indefinitely.
Yeah.
Have closed now, so we are now kind of officially separate and are just kind of doing the final changes with that. I don't know, I do kind of see the frustration with transfers, but at the same time, when you did kind of have this USM related thing, like when you have like joint, that just means like a lot more opinions, and opinions kind of can lead to arguments. So I think especially not even at the long run, but even the short term, this does allow for kind of the USAF to have like more control due to the fact that like we don't need to like have like the Navy and kind of Army involved. So
okay, but one question that I have to you, Bass, about the with the transfers and everything. Let me think of my question again, because I was just looking at something else. With the transfer is not being shut down and the military being disbanded, could you technically now be an officer in, let's say, the Marines and the Air Force? Since now it's not a joint military, it's just an allied group, so they don't technically classify under the same thing.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, so this is
I know people that are officers and enlisted will want to know that, especially because I was debating on becoming an officer here in USAF, and I was going to become an officer in AFHQ. That's why I backed down and like slowed down my activity gravely. It was also stuff to do with IRL that was happening, but
yeah,
I couldn't be an officer in both USN and USAF.
Yeah, so this is a very kind of interesting question, and I think everyone will have this question. And as of now, you're actually right. So I can technically be an officer in the Air Force and like the Marines or the Army. That we haven't made like a official decision. So due to our like inaction on this currently, that means that yes, technically you can have that. However, there is the possibility of us kind of issuing like a statement where like you can't go past a certain rank. If we do have this, I believe we were discussing this earlier a little bit, and we like agreed that you can like you'll keep your commission, so it's not like previously you couldn't, I believe you couldn't retain like you can only have one commission in each branch. I know that if we do kind of impose like a rank lock, for example, like you can't be like 07 and like another 07 on each brand. I know that if we did impose like this rank lock, you would still be able to have multiple commissions in different branches.
You just have to be like 1 or 2 ranks apart from each other.
Yeah, so I'm not too, all I know is that like currently, yes, you can be any rank, and there's the possibility that we may kind of enact a change on this. However, if we do make a change on this, most likely, of course, things can change. You would retain your commission, if that makes sense.
Why y'all just quiet?
Oh, because they're all waiting for me.
I mean, there hasn't been much going around in this group lately. It's just been, oh crap, everything's disbanding, everybody panic.
Bro, the C staff and director or staff resign. Like, what do you mean there hasn't been much going on?
What do you mean? Snoopy's
the air combat commander resigned.
Nobody cares about him.
You sure?
Yeah, I know there's definitely a lot going on. I don't know. Air Force HQ, I guess.
People are resigning. There's nothing really new about that. I'm just trying to see, will the group go into a depression? That's my question.
To be honest
with everybody resigning and all of that, and some people leaving, that actually did like a great deal for the group, and was some of the reasons why people were staying, just leaving. Well, like that just like put the group on a and like during a Great Depression. Because if that happens, then Cav's just gonna be like, okay, yeah, your guys are shut down.
Yeah, I'm just gonna backtrack
no point
a bit.
In wasting money.
I feel like that's the downside of the armed forces shutting down. Like before, we were able to rely on each other more than we are able to now. Like back then, we had more assets, so we have the same amount of assets, but they were easier to access for us. Now it's a bit more difficult if we're just independent but allied. Yeah.
Check your DMs. I sent it to you. Both of you. That's like.
I mean, we can still do joint events. It's just like an allied event at this point.
Yeah, I feel like
so you can definitely.
So let's take a quick moment, a moment of silence for Aranea and Andrew leaving the group.
Why?
We don't need a moment of silence. They're not dead.
Yeah.
I know. Yes, we do.
Oh, okay.
Look, so, frame.
Talk about the funeral that was hosted for Maya.
Frame. Okay, so when I leave for basic training, whenever that is, are you going to host a moment of silence for me every day I'm out?
Yeah.
And then a moment of silence for almost every day I'm at tech school.
No, I'm gonna have to spend 5 hours a day in VC with Bobby because he's gonna be crying about you.
Oh my god. Alright, but anyways, fucking, like, all it, like, wait, shit, my brain shut off. Baumer, yes.
Wow.
Shut up. What you were saying. What you were saying about, like, the group going into depression because everyone resigning, like, from the resignations, it might, like, I'm not gonna point names, but a lot of people have expressed they don't like the current new people in AFHQ. Like, I'm not trying to point fingers at anyone. No one in this voice chat said any of that. Yeah. But a lot of people, like especially people in my squadron who are very open to me, they have expressed they don't like certain new people in AFHQ. Like. I know a lot of people
there's people in like AFHQ, for example. AFHQ, I haven't seen much of anything going on in it that's like intriguing. There's nothing like a war combat or anything or something that's like actually fun besides like a random RP thing. There's no like actual war going on. In another group that I'm in, which some people that are actually listening might be in it, it's a different community, so I'm not going to say it so Cab doesn't kick me in the ass.
You want that?
The group is CRC. I'll say it. It's CRC. It's Canadian Roleplay Community. I'm not gonna say what it actually is, but that's what I'll say, just so Cab will stay off my ass.
Canada.
Frame, shut up.
Deno dino zaye.
You better not sing the whole ass anthem, bro.
I can only sing it in French.
I don't even
Do
know.
it.
What the
Oh,
Canada?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Keep going.
God damn.
Chelsea,
Oh, you
you have
suck.
to editing all of this out.
You suck.
You
Oh no,
suck.
I'm Canadian, so I can say that.
Oh.
I'm
Oh no,
Russian, so
we
I
have
can
the
say
anthem in our
Maple leaf
school
plaid
every
shirt
day.
looking
So.
idiot.
Wait,
Right.
wait. Say
Wearing
anthem
red,
again.
but-
Say
Oh
anthem
no, I'm
again.
not. No. All right,
Say
let's
it.
get back on top. Let's get
Let's
back,
get back
on
on
topic.
topic, yes.
Maybe later.
Oh, that's boring though.
Frame, you chose to be here.
For real, you could have just stayed
You
gone.
asked me to be here.
Yeah, I asked you to be here because I didn't think you'd be complaining about. This isn't even boring. You're the only person here who finds it boring.
No. No, I'm
Yeah.
saying being on topic is boring. Shut up.
Exactly.
Exactly. You're the only one saying it's boring.
Okay. Anyways,
But-
regarding like.
Let-
Okay, so I'm gonna have a question for actually you, Bobby. I know this is surprising. I'm asking you a question here. Anyways.
Is it gonna be nice and
Yeah,
relevant?
no, this is actually a relevant question, bro.
Okay.
So regarding all these resignations and new wings opening up, like, how do you think this is going to affect the Quartermaster Corps?
I don't think it's gonna affect much.
Like,
I think it's gonna
Although
bring
it
more
is-
people into Bobby's DMs.
I know,
asking,
like,
"Hey,
Frame, shut up.
All that's gonna change is maybe more orders, but nothing's gonna dramatically change.
Because right now, in my opinion, for the Quartermasters, right now the demand is way higher than the supply. Like, to be honest, like, the Quartermaster Corps, like, no offense to you, Bobby, I'm not trying to target you or put you on the spot or anything, but, like, a lot of things about it can be fixed, like, right now. Have to be fixed right now, because there's, like, there's been a lot of complaints about the Quartermaster Corps. Like, I feel
most
so
of them-
bad for saying this directly to your face,
No.
but it's true.
Chelsea, most of them are complaints I can't do.
And most of the
Yeah.
complaints are just about slow publishers.
Yeah, and there's
You
nothing
mean road
Yeah, you can
publishers,
fix
like,
that. You have to just like,
because I'm gonna have to hire a load more.
yeah.
Then I'm gonna, by the end of the time we get paid, I'm gonna.
You're gonna what? You cut out.
I know. I'm gonna have like 100 of them by the time we actually finally get paid, and then
And then G is going broke.
no.
Oh.
Okay. We'll just move on from the Quartermaster stuff.
Yeah.
This is too confusing for me.
Let me.
No.
Alright.
Confusing.
So,
You're
with
just
all-
small brain.
Shut up. Alright, so with AMC shutting down, what did you think that did for GMC and ACC?
GMC.
GM. What?
I said AMC.
The
what
pickup
did
truck
you think
company?
You said, what did you think it did for GMC and ACC?
Yeah, but anyways, for Goat, y'all opened up a new wing for the AMC people, right?
No.
Oh.
Well, ACC had to open up a new wing.
There's
they
no
put
one in
both-
that wing.
yeah.
No, they put both of their new squadrons under that wing, and they took all transfers from, I believe, both the Navy and AMC,
Only
and they
like,
put them under that wing.
only like 5 people transferred respectively from both. A bit
Yeah,
sad.
but
And
GSC
2 of them went in my squadron.
yeah, from GSC we had a lot of transfers the first day. So when AMC closed, had about 20 people trying to transfer in to GSC. We assigned them to their squadrons. When the Navy closed, it was also announced that GSC was going to be opening 2 brand new wings and another squadron. We, me or my HQ did not have any control over that. We just had to make do with it, and all the transfers that we received, we just had to assign them where we could. and so right now we're still struggling. We have a lot of new staff implemented as we had to open up. We've had 8 wing staff positions to fill, and then all the squadron staff positions for our new squadron, 54th Helicopter Squadron, which is just like Medivac and Pararescue. So we have to find a lot of new staff recently.
That's interesting because, like me with JAGC, we kind of actually have the opposite problem in which we had a huge bulk of the Navy kind of JAGC refugee crisis. So we actually almost have like in too many members for like while OSI they're actually pumping good cases. Like they are doing a wonderful job. We just really don't have the amount of cases enough to support the kind of amount of staff. So it's actually exciting because now we're brainstorming kind of plans to expand JAGC, and we actually are developing these plans.
Nice. Yeah, like Jackson, I have no clue how they got so much from the Navy. I know 3 people from CVW who, instead of like being expected to go to an aviation component of the Marines or Air Force, went into JAGC for some reason, and like no one saw that coming. Like,
Yeah, we were kind of shocked with that. Of course, I'm grateful. Like it's actually like a wonderful opportunity because JAGC, of course, is the lowest personnel command, just to kind of get a lot more personnel so we can kind of like start expanding. So I know kind of my staff are very eager to kind of have a legal kind of advice or legal kind of counsel agency. So we're trying to get that up and running, and we're interviewing for spots to be filled. It's stressful. It's a lot of work. However, again, it's just enjoying when you see like the command like grow.
yeah, I was the assistant judge advocate general in the army, and like being Jaxie is a lot of fun if you know what you're doing. Like if you're good at debating and law and stuff. Yeah, like I get why people are joining, but like the amount of people that have joined just like blew my mind, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think it shocked everyone. Right. This is a very loud voice chat. Anyway, go. Can I ask you a question real quick? Yeah, so real quick, just this is going to be a very quick question regarding like GSC and shit. Like, do you plan on doing anything with your command? Because I know Basilisk just said what he plans on doing, but for your command, because right now, how many wings do you have? 3?
Currently, we have 2.
Oh, you have 2? I thought you had more than 2. Damn. Y'all post a lot of applications then. Anyways, do you plan on like expanding anywhere in the near future, or like adding a new wing that does something different than the other wings? Because with GSC, there is a lot of potential. Like when it comes to the Air Force, Global Strike Command is like one of the broadest commands. They do almost everything except like fighting.
Yes, we plan to currently just create more organization within the command. So very soon we are going to be organizing each flight into its officers and its enlisted personnel. And the enlisted, we're going to be setting up a system where when you join, you'll be promoted to E3, and then you'll be put into what's called an element. So when you join, you'll be put into element 3, which is sort of a course where you'll be learning about like the basics of the command and what you'll be expected to do, how everything runs. And then once you complete that course, you'll go to the second element and you'll be promoted again, and then you learn about air traffic control, and then next course, ground crew, and then after that, you'll be put into our heavy flight academy. So, and then after you complete that, you'll be able to fly.
Nice.
So we're just going to be implementing a more organized system for everything and getting people their certifications.
Nice. Also, one final question for you. This is just a question. It's not like targeted at you, but regarding air traffic control, do you and other aviation components plan on like reopening that, or is it going to stay inactive the way it is now?
Well, air traffic control, it used to be very active, but the commander of the, like all air traffic control services, I believe he left, so it hasn't really been extremely active. The server for air traffic control has died down. There's not a lot of activity with it. But once we get the air traffic control server in game, I believe, then we can start focusing more on ATC and maybe get that server revitalized
Nice.
so we can set up more of an organization.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was just wondering because of my deputy commander who resigned like 2 hours ago to go to ATC. He's FAA certified in real life civil air patrol captain. Yeah, not really brag, just saying. And like what we've been teaching people in my squadron is like all this stuff you should know when flying, and like we realize that like you don't need to know it in this group if there's no air traffic control, because who's there to do it? Like what I do in game half the time is I just go in like a A10 in the air and just make sure everyone's flying normally, not doing like dumb stuff in the air. Cause like you remember on Lachlan all the times I DM'd you reporting someone for exploding a B-52, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that was around the era where I'd just be in an A10 making sure no one was doing that. That's how I sent so many reports to like you and ACCHQ all the time. But yeah. Anyways, yeah.
I think it'd be great if we could get air traffic control back up to be its own entity within this USAF. And it would be great to see it back up and running.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of stuff this Air Force could do. Like, for an example, like, something that I think would be cool, like, I always forget the full squadron name. First Special Operations Security Forces Squadron. That one. Like, rather than being the way it is, just under Security Forces, I think it should be ran joint between AFSOC and Security, like it is in real life. Because then there would be, like, unlimited potential for that. Like, for an example, on like deployments, then they would be able to do more stuff. Like normally what that squadron does in real life on, let's say, deployments, for an example, like I know for a fact that during the War on Terror they were responsible for guarding all the airfields in the surrounding regions of the Middle East. Like, so for deployments they would have so much potential, but they're just stuck under security forces, which makes them just a special response team, which I find pretty dumb, because, I mean, if you have something that you can do so much with and then you just bench it, then it just makes you look dumb. But if it were in my hands, I'd have it so that one squadron would be doing much more. Yeah.
They could definitely have like there's a lot of potential for the squadron since they are special operations, so they should be doing. I'm not sure what they do right now in SF, but I see a lot of them at the gate frequently, which I don't feel should be as much. Like they can still guard the gate, but they should be much more active.
Yeah.
In deployments and such.
Yeah. Anyways, what else do we have? Oh yeah, for your, actually, if this is for you, Basilisk got a quick question about JAGC.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know what the current. Okay. So before I ask the question, I need to ask a question before. Regarding like your
Right.
entry process, y'all do law school for judge advocates, right?
Correct.
Yeah. How strict do you think it is, like, at the moment?
Yeah, so I think that we have, because with kind of JAGC Law School, it's always different from like OTS Law School in the sense that like you need to, there's a balance between number one, like the law education, which I think this is kind of where like discipline will kind of fall under, and the second one is like the amount of staff like you have, right? So you can make like a very well educating like law school in which when you graduate, like you'll be an expert at it. However, not many people will do it, so then you have like a dwindling kind of like population within JAGC, which like that's kind of something our staff are concerned about. Thankfully, we don't have this problem, but in the past we have had. So I think our current law school, what I like about it is I think it's kind of at this like golden middle ground in the sense that like it teaches you kind of a lot of information, and we try to structure it where like it's not boring like you're reading like a textbook in class. Like there's actually interaction between the instructor and like the person who is and like the student, while at the same time having it so that it's really enjoyable. It teaches a lot of law school, and then you kind of get like disciplined in the process. And I think like just JAGC itself, like our entire command is worshiping like this Bible, which is the UCMJ. So I don't think like many people kind of go into this and be like undisciplined. We've had issues in the past. No command is perfect. However, we kind of deal with these issues kind of as it arises and still kind of strive to make like JAGC a very well disciplined command.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, like, I don't remember much about my time as Army Assistant Judge Advocate General, but I remember just hating the law school, because, you didn't learn much. So, I'd spend most of my time just, like, helping all the judge advocates and stuff. So, like, whenever they get assigned a case, they'd know how to deal with it properly, rather than just asking for help the whole time. But, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
what were you saying? Sorry.
yeah, because like also with JAGC and kind of education, there are like almost two levels. So number one, you have law school, which of course this is meant to teach you kind of the bulk of it. But again, I remember when I did law school, like I was considered a relatively like good student, but when I went to the courtroom, like I like no matter the amount of schooling you get, like it doesn't prepare you for an actual kind of trial. So we also have like resources in place, and that's actually my like AJAG's kind of job to basically make it so that when someone graduates kind of law school, no matter how well they did, when they get assigned their first case, they're always this like second person, so they can kind of see how it works and see from someone who has like had more experience and have done cases before, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like, I'm currently trying to find a screenshot of something that happened a while back in the Marine Corps chat room. Pretty much there was this guy who, like, somehow got through law school, somehow not analyze the case, but you know what you do when you get assigned a case, you have to like read through it and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did that to a case, made a report on the case, somehow got it into court, and I don't remember what he said. I'm currently trying to find the image. I know where it is, but it was like a few months ago. He said something like, Your Honor, this guy has said nothing other than the fact that he said nothing, that the defendant did nothing, that he did something, that, like, it was just so weird. Like, it didn't make any sense. It was riddled with grammatical errors. Like, god damn.
Oh, that's my worst nightmare.
Yeah. Like, I'm currently trying to find it, because, like, when I first went in JAGC, my first ever JAG position was in the Marine Corps as the Senior Enlisted Advisor, Chief Paralegal. And it's so annoying trying to find an image from months ago, god. Remind me to never do this. Come. If I don't find it in 1 minute, we'll just move on. Because I really want you to see this. Okay. Here.
We could just continue talking and you can thingy. Well,
Yeah. Anyways, what we forgot to, like, I don't know how I skimmed over this, but joint foreign relations. Like, that is shut down, as you all know. And I know the Air Force, like, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but a few AFHQ people have said when people asked that, they're going to have our own form of joint foreign relations. They never said what it was called, probably just public relations or something like that. And anyways, about that, it's going to what was said. Oh my god, it's like something in my eye. Holy shit, bro. Okay, anyway, what was said about that? According to Snowy in the public chat room like a week ago, not a week ago, like 2 days ago, she said Pluto is going to lead it, which I'm not sure if it's going to be like a part-time billet or the VC staff is just going to lead it. I don't know if anyone in this voice chat knows anything about it, but it's just going to be interesting how it runs, because I mean, we know nothing about what it's going to do. Like, is it going to have to be an ambassador to the Marine Corps and the Army? Or is it just going to be for other groups that, like, we actually isn't owned by the same person? Like, there's a lot of questions that not just I have, but a lot of people have regarding it. Because, yeah, it's just a bit confusing for me. And holy shit, here, can you guys give me 1 second to get this out of my eye? Someone take over for me.
Yeah, so I can.
No, I want to take over.
All right.
Yeah. So sorry, I've zoned out there. So let's talk about what we think is going to happen. Like, do we think Cav is going to buy out another branch or stuff like that? What do you guys think? Is he gonna buy another?
We were just. Why the fuck?
Were you
I
just
don't
talking
think
about that?
Cav will buy out kind of another branch, because you need to think what other kind of branches are there to buy. So number one, Space Force, that's probably
Yeah.
like the least common kind of
Yeah.
branch, so I don't think that will like be included. Then you have Navy and kind of Coast Guard, right? Which we've
Guardians
had
of the Galaxy.
Yeah. So kind of we've had two branches, which are the Navy and the Coast Guard, and we see this as, oh no, the Navy just got shut down, so that kind of eliminates that out the window. We have the Marines, so then all that kind of leaves is the Coast Guard, which we've had at one point, and that also got shut down. So I don't think Cav will.
We have a Space Force at one point too.
We've had every branch.
No, we haven't had National Guard.
The National Guard's not a branch.
Shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing though.
Well, the National Guard is difficult to classify, and it's called the National Guard Bureau, I think. I don't know. I'm not too keen on this. Let me look it up.
Here's the theory.
It's like a
What if Cav?
command.
What if Cav buys another? What if Cav buys like a British army or a
Cav
Canadian
wouldn't
army?
do that.
No.
I don't know.
That's
It's
not an
really
equation, Frame.
And then he just combines.
He wouldn't do
I-
that.
Doubt that will happen. I think we're just kind of focusing on getting the Army, the Marines, and of course the Air Force kind of grown more. So then,
'Cause he's
I don't know,
still
it generates.
He's still
you
got
can
his DOD, his New York police thing, and
He owns a lot of
something
groups,
else.
Like
Something
Foxtrot
else talking
Asylum,
about.
right?
Um,
He owns some
don't know.
Asylum roleplay group, and he also owns there's an SCP group. Yeah. I've looked into Caviar Incorporation like a month ago, because I wanted to see what he owned. Yeah, he owns a lot of stuff. Like, yeah. Anyways, he can't just focus on one thing, and to be honest, he probably doesn't have the time to buy a British military group or Canadian military group. Yeah. Like, yeah. Not even
And
going to
there's just
continue
not
with
really-
that topic. There's nothing to talk about there. He's
And
just
there's
not
just
going to do it.
There's also just not as much interest in things.
Yeah. Like, British military groups, like, they get attention, but not that much attention. Like, the Navy, right before it got shut down, like, that's more popular than the majority of British military groups. Like, I'm not saying British military groups are small. I'm just saying...
There are some quite big.
Yeah, there are
stuff.
huge ones, bro, but, like, majority of them are small, because, the majority of the Roblox player base, wouldn't you guess it, is American. Yeah.
Or just other countries. There are more than 2 countries.
I know.
but,
I'm
you
just saying the majority is American. The percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the biggest British Army group has over 1 million people.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, it does.
I know Row Nation, the biggest British Row Nation, has like 500 or 600,000. There's a whole like news article on it back when the Americas went to war with it, and I was the chief of staff of the Air Force. We had like a, I forget which news outlet came to us, but full-on professional news outlet came to us to interview us. Yeah.
Yeah, the army. Our army is on the front page when you search up army. With
Yeah.
over like 330
Aren't we the
members.
second biggest?
Zans has
No,
got,
we are not the second biggest army.
We're not.
Zans
Oh, we are
has
the
got, like,
second biggest United
Zans
States
has-
army.
Zans has got like 1 million, hasn't he?
Sans is the biggest, bro. It's not even a
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got more than all of our groups combined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much does the army
Our
have?
Air Force,
200?
however, is the biggest. Air Force is the biggest, though.
Yeah.
No.
Wait. Doesn't Jacob's Air Force have? Wait, how much do we have? Our Air Force.
We have
100
100 and...
100. How much?
and 34.
Okay, we have more. Yeah. Okay.
Are we not the biggest Air Force?
I don't know.
I believe we are the biggest Air Force.
I'm pretty sure we are.
Yeah, let's go. We're the biggest. We're cool.
Yay, I have
Yay.
a position.
You're the quartermaster general, bro.
You're just salty you can't be QMG.
I'm not. I'm fine in my position, bro. I play A10s and Thunder.
You were salty. You're just salty you were only Marine.
I'm only what?
You were only Marine QMG for a day, so you're salty.
No,
Guaranteed it.
I'm not mad. I got it on my resume, bro. I was the Marine Corps QMG. No one could take that away from me. I was the QMG for 1 day. It still
I'm
counts
pretty
as
sure
a
it was like-
QMG.
was it not
even a
in,
day,
like, 6 hours?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it still counts. Hell, how many of you in this voice chat, other than Bobby, have been a QMG in this armed forces? Exactly.
Me?
I said other than Bobby. Yeah. See, I'm better than all
That's
of you.
definitely does.
Okay, anyways, guys, thank you for tuning into the Airman podcast.
Airmen?
Yeah, Frame, did you not pay attention to the intro?
No, I wasn't in here.
Yes, you are.
Anyways, thank you for listening to the Airman podcast. Today, to be honest, has probably been a better episode than the first one. Like, damn. Not even a contest, bro. Yeah, anyways.
First one was fun.
I hope we see y'all the next week we do this. We're going to have a wider variety of topics next time. This one was a short notice episode because, yeah. Anyways, see you in a week. Bye.
Chelsea, I'm about to send you
Are
something.
not, any of you going to say bye?
Fuck.
No.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, y'all so mean.